The former boss of Nissan has warned of carnage once Honda takes over the company. And make no mistake, it's official now. Honda will take over Nissan. This is a bailout. The media are starting to finally report the truth behind this. It's not some sort of ridiculous, let's get together and be friends, let's be buddies here. Actually, the new director of this company, the Mitsubishi, Honda and Nissan Alliance, will be from Honda. So, yeah, there's that. So will the executives. They'll also be from Honda. However, Nissan's former boss says that this is a disaster and cost-cutting measures will simply drive the companies into the ground. A tie-up between Honda, Nissan and Mitsubishi has the potential to shake up not just the Japanese automotive industry, but the global hierarchy of car makers as well. When these three car companies join together, which will happen in about a year's time, technically they will be the third largest automaker in the world. That's assuming that they don't lose more sales this year, which would mean that they might not be the third largest automaker in the world because, as you know, sales at Nissan, Honda and Mitsubishi have all fallen drastically in China to the point where Mitsubishi has actually just left China completely. They have factories there. There's nothing in them. They're just full of dust and probably old car parts and stuff. But I suspect that Nissan and eventually Honda will leave China as well, which is going to cut their sales by millions every year. However, according to Carlos Ghosn, the former Nissan Renault boss turned international fugitive, I'm sure you remember when he hid in the instrument box to escape Japan. Well, he says this isn't a partnership, and I think that's pretty obvious. It's a corporate slaughterhouse where Nissan's the unlucky lamb. Honda, they're sharpening the knives. Now, the truth is, Nissan isn't unlucky. They put themselves in this situation. They had to have someone had to bail them out. They said, Nissan executives said they can't pay their debt. They're the only automaker in the world, as I've reported on for several years now, whose debt is rated a junk. Now, if you read other, I'm not going to say which sites, but other car websites, these guys are just dipshits. They get paid by Honda, Mitsubishi. They're paid by these guys. So anything they say is simply a sponsored advertisement. And if you think it isn't, just think about how the human brain works, guys. If you know who's sponsoring you, what are you going to do, right? I mean, for me personally, yeah, I'm a bit more positive about certain car companies. You guys know which ones they are. They don't pay me though. So it's a bit easier for me to be a bit more objective, right? No car companies pay me anything. I've never received a single cent from a car company. So I can actually tell you the truth. If you read, I'm sorry guys, if you are getting information from general mass market media, car websites, then you have been brainwashed by just utter nonsense. I've seen recent articles. Nissan's fine, trust us, they're all great. Everything's great at Nissan. It's all overblown. And then what happens, right? Nissan themselves admit that they're screwed. So it's probably time for you to stop reading a lot of those websites. I read them too, but I actually, do a bit more research on this. The former boss of Nissan and Renault predicted something big was on the cards when the three car manufacturers announced plans to collaborate on software development and to share R&D costs for electrification in August. Ghosn described this deal as a disguised takeover, and while the collaboration is considered a merger, he believes that Honda will be the ones calling the shots. And well, he said this, and he was right. Because then we saw the number, we saw the actual information from Honda and from Nissan. It was released, and the media said nothing about this, strangely, but it's true that Honda will be in charge. They're deciding who is the director from Honda. They're deciding who is in charge, and they're deciding who all the executives are. So basically, the entire management structure will be from Honda. Nissan is in panic mode, said Carlos Ghosn, looking for somebody to save them from this situation because they're unable to generate the solution by themselves, he told CNBC. Now, if your debt, I've said this for a long time, if your debt is rated a junk, your interest payments are higher than your rivals, right? If your sales are falling, you're losing money. They lost money for 9 straight months in a row, and you've got debt rated a junk. Who's going to come in and save you? Only a car company that is strongly encouraged to by the Japanese government, right? Honda is coming, said Ghosn, obviously dominating whatever partnership is going to come out of it. I think without any doubt, Honda is going to be in the driver's seat, which is very sad to see after having led Nissan for 19 years and brought Nissan to the forefront of the industry to see what they're going to be, the victim of a carnage, because there is total duplication between Nissan and Honda. I actually think Carlos Ghosn is missing the point here because of his own personal history with the company. Nissan, Honda and Mitsubishi, they're all completely screwed. It makes no difference. Basically, it's like a drowning man trying to save a drowning man. It's unless you've got a board to give to him, you're trying to save a drowning man, you got to drown yourselves. That's all this is. This is Honda trying to save another drowning man, and they're out in the ocean, there's big waves, and they're not prepared. They don't have any surfboards to get onto. They're all just drowning themselves. That's what's going to happen here. So I don't think Carlos Ghosn should feel sorry for Nissan. All three of these companies will be basically shells of what they are today in 5 years' time from now. It's obvious. Looking at the data, it's very, very clear and obvious. And of course, you can go and cherry pick data. You can do this with Stellantis. There's all kinds of ridiculous YouTube videos and news reports. Stellantis, they're killing it. I bet you can find at least 100,000 positive reports on Stellantis last year. I bet you can. And really, if you want to see the truth, go and do it. Go and do it. Right away, go do it. Stellantis, record profits. How many times did we see that in 2023? Record profits, even in the early stages of 2024. Record profits, amazing. What happens then? The shit hits the fan. The truth starts to come out. It was all like, yeah, let's make hay while the sun shines because everything's about to fall to pieces. They fire the CEO. The dealerships are just getting annihilated. And the CEO's like, yeah, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. It's too bad. The same thing is happening across all of legacy auto. Anyhow, if a deal is reached, apparently a holding company will act as a parent for both brands and be listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange as well. Honda would nominate most of the company's board members, and that's partly thanks to its market capitalization being 4 times that of Nissan, and the group will become the world's third largest automaker until it's no longer. When I say no longer, I mean it's pretty obvious that Geely and BYD will overtake whatever rivals join together, Toyota, Volkswagen Group. That's very clear writing on the wall. It's so obvious. I mean, look at their sales, including the fastest growing car companies in the world. None of them are from Europe. None of them are from Japan. None of them are from the US, other than, I guess, Tesla, and their sales have stalled. All of them are from China. Every single one. All the top 10 fastest growing car companies in the world, they're all from China. Now, Fisker was one of them. They were a fastest growing car company. They're gone. Yeah, you see my point. Now, Carlos Ghosn went on to say, there is practically no complementarity here, which means if they want to make synergy, it is going to be through maybe cost reduction, duplication of plans, duplication of technology, and we know exactly who's going to pay the price of it. It's going to be the minor partner, and it's going to be Nissan, said Ghosn. Hyundai's boss, Toshihiro Mibe, has insisted that the merger won't move forward unless both brands can prove they're capable of standing on their own 2 feet, which is ridiculous. Nissan can't pay its debt bond at $7 billion that's coming in 12 months. Its executives have admitted as much. It's not only that, it's ongoing repayments, right? It's not just the fact they have to pay this massive once-off enormous fee. It's the fact that they have to keep on paying all their loans when they're making a loss, quarter after quarter after quarter. So basically, Honda is saying, well, if things go really bad for Nissan over the next 12 months, we're going to pull out of this deal. And Nissan, you can go sink by yourself. That's what they're saying. Meanwhile, Carlos Ghosn has expressed high doubts about Nissan's ability to turn things around, even with the restructuring plan announced in November. As part of this plan, Nissan aims to slash around 10,000 jobs and reduce global production capacity by 20% in an effort to become leaner and more resilient. In other words, in an effort to become more like a Chinese car company. Now, if any of you have been to Japan and you've seen how Japanese companies work, you know it's a literal impossibility that a Japanese car company is going to become like a Chinese car company. The truth is, China has much better electric car technology. They're miles ahead of Japan. Their software is better now than Japan. There's really no actual advantage that Japanese cars have anymore. And the other big problem here is that Chinese cars are much cheaper to produce in China. If you combine all of this with the fact that EV battery prices have come down, the cell prices, not pack price, cell prices have come down 53% over the past 12 months, meaning it's probably now, by the time you're watching this video, cheaper to make an EV in China than it is to make an internal combustion car anywhere else in the world. You can see where things are heading. EV sales went up by 35% worldwide this year. Around 80% of all electric cars made worldwide this year were made in China. China now owns around 35% of the entire global car market, but it only owned a few percent around 20 years ago. Japan's sales are falling, and that is not going to change, regardless of what Honda, Nissan, or Mitsubishi do in their boardrooms together, plans they pull up, concoct, it's all just playing games. And eventually, it's all coming to a very sad end.